This is Elliot Eisenberg of Graphs and Laughs, catching you up to date on the latest multiple service listings data for Hillsborough County. And the news is generally pretty good. Sales volume in Hillsborough County for both single and multifam structures are better than the growth experienced nationally. There's no growth at all year over year. Whereas by contrast here, we've got more on multifam side, about 10% growth, but still solid 4% growth on single fam. So sales activity is pretty good. In terms of prices, on the multifam side, price appreciation is about 3%. On the single fam side, it's 1%. So what's this telling us? We're seeing less price appreciation on the single fam side and less sales activity on the single fam side. And we're seeing more of both on the multifam side. And what's going on is prices. Prices on the single fam side are really quite high. Right now, a single fam home is selling for about $260,000. By contrast, a multifamily structure, a condominium or townhome or whatever it is selling for about $170,000. That's a meaningful difference. If you look back in history, the price of a multifam structure now, about $170,000, is where single fam prices were back in 2013. So a household that had whatever they could afford to buy a single fam home back then, if that's all they have, now all they can buy is a multifam home. So people are being pushed into the multifam structure. This isn't altogether bad. This is substitution. This goes on regularly. You can't afford, you make compromises. But that's why we're seeing a slightly better market on the multifam side now anyways, for presently. The other thing that's interesting in both markets is inventory. On the single fam side, inventory had been going up for quite a long time, but inventory declined last month year over year, so compared to July 2018. That was the first time there was a decline in 12 months. So there's certainly something changing, and inventory had been growing for a while, and then it's declining. Similarly, on the multifam side, inventory growth was exceptionally large. Just 4 or 5 months ago, there was 50% inventory growth year over year, and then it's 40 and 30, and now it's 21. So it wouldn't surprise me if in a few more months we no longer saw increases in multifam inventories. So the huge growth in inventories, both on the multifam side, which is probably coming close to soon ending, and on the single fam side where it's already ended. Now looking at things nationally, things are still pretty good. I know there's the big talk of the R word, recession, but I just don't see it. Labor markets continue to be strong. Wage growth continues to be good. Unemployment is low. First-time claims for unemployment came out last week. They were very good. So domestically, we're strong. But let's not kid ourselves. We know that the globe is cooling. We know manufacturing in the U.S. is teetering on a recession. Automobile sales are weakening, recreational vehicle sales, RV sales are weakening, home construction activity is flat and has been detracting from GDP growth for 6 straight quarters. So there are problems. And then if you add international, there's problems there. Brexit could cause a lot of harm to Europe and a little bit of harm to us. And of course, the overarching issue of tariffs. No one knows where that's going to go, when it's going to end, how much worse it's going to get. And that's certainly putting a damper on corporate activity. And the key thing is we don't want to see this infect consumer confidence in household spending patterns. As long as it doesn't, the recession stays away. But if households begin to get nervous and it affects them directly, they're over 2/3 of GDP, that would be a bad sign. So far, there's no evidence of it, but it doesn't mean it can't start. So keep it in the back of your mind. I suspect that we will not get a recession anytime sooner than April or May of 2020. So there's no near possibility of a recession, and I don't think there's one after that necessarily either. I just can't tell. That's it for now. See you next month.